As mentioned by me in the start of the discussion, aggregate demand is one side of the economy. Aggregate supply is the other side. We have covered enough ground on aggregate demand. Let's now move the discussion to aggregate supply. Aggregate supply refers to the quantity supplied of all goods and services of real GDP at various price levels. Aggregate supply includes both short-run aggregate supply (SRAS) and long-run aggregate supply (LRAS). Let's first focus on short-run aggregate supply. A short-run aggregate supply SRAS curve shows the quantity supplied of all goods and services of real GDP or output at different price levels. As you would remember from the old demand and supply dynamics, the SRAS curve is upward sloping. As the price level rises, firms increase the quantities supplied of goods and services. As the price level drops, firms decrease the quantities supplied of goods and services. But why is the SRAS curve upward sloping? Economists have put forth a few explanations. We will discuss two of them. Let us learn an economist's explanation for an upward slope of SRAS curve. The first one is sticky wages. Some economists believe that wages are sticky or inflexible. This may be because wages are locked in for a few years due to labor contracts entered into by workers and management. For example, management and labor may agree to lock in wages for the next 1 to 3 years. Let's ask Mr. Karthik the reasons about this kind of contracts related to wages. What's the benefit out of it for both the parties?
Both labor and management may see this as in their best interest. We as a management have some idea of what our labor costs will be during the time of the contract, and workers may have a sense of security knowing that their wages cannot be lowered. We pay nominal wages, for example, $30 an hour, but we often decide how many workers to hire based on real wages. Real wages are nothing but nominal wages divided by the price level. For example, suppose the nominal wage is $30 an hour and the price level as measured by a price index is 1.50. The real wage is therefore $20, which is $30 divided by 1.5. The quantity supplied of labor is directly related to the real wage. As the real wage rises, the quantity supplied of labor rises. As the real wage falls, the quantity supplied of labor falls. In short, more individuals are willing to work, and current workers are willing to work more at higher real wages than at lower real wages. In summary, when real wages increase, quantities supplied of labor increases. If real wages decrease, quantities supplied of labor decreases. On the other hand, the quantity demanded of labor is inversely related to the real wage. As the real wage rises, the quantity demanded of labor falls. As the real wage falls, the quantity demanded of labor rises. Firms will employ more workers the cheaper it is to hire them. With this as background, suppose we have agreed to pay our junior level production artist $30 per hour as nominal wage for the next 3 years and have hired 1,000 artists. When we agreed to this nominal wage, we thought the price index would remain at 1.50 and the real wage would stay at $20. Now suppose the price index falls to 1.25. When the price level falls to an index of 1.25, the real wage rises to $24, that is $30 divided by 1.25. This is a higher real wage than what we have expected when we agreed to lock in nominal wages at $30 an hour. If we had an idea that the real wage would turn out to be $24 and not remain at $20, we would never have hired 1,000 workers. Instead, would have hired, say, 800 artists.
So, what does the firm do now? As mentioned by Mr. Karthik, there is an inverse relationship between the real wage and the quantity demanded of labor, that is, the number of workers that firms want to hire. Now that the real wage for his company has risen from $20 to $24, the firm cuts back on its labor, say from 1,000 to 800 workers. With fewer workers working, less output is produced. In conclusion, if wages are sticky, a decrease in the price level, which pushes real wages up, will result in a decrease in output. That is what an upward sloping SRAS curve represents. As the price level falls, the quantity supplied of goods and services declines. Now, let's have a look on other theory to find reasoning for upward slope of aggregate supply curve in short run. The name of the theory is worker misperceptions, which is based on the assumption that workers may misperceive real wage changes. To illustrate, let's now meet Mr. Shashank. Suppose his nominal wage is $30 an hour and the price level as measured by price index is 1.50. It says that his real wage is $20. Now suppose the nominal price level falls to 1.25. So the real wage for the firm in which Mr. Shashank is working is around $24, which is more than the previous real wage of $20. To keep the same real wage, firm may decide to reduce the nominal wage of Mr. Shashank to $25, so that real wage is $20, that is $25 divided by 1.25 is equal to $20. But workers may not know this. Let's cross-check with Mr. Shashank. Will he be ready to receive deduction in his salary or nominal wages in case of falling prices?
I don't know anything about real wage and all. What I bother about is my take-home salary, that is nominal wages. If my nominal wage is decreased, the only thing that I know is I will be earning $25 an hour instead of $30 an hour. Even if I know the price level is lower, I may not know initially how much lower the price level is. After all, I am not an economist or stock trader, right? So, in a nutshell, I will not be interested to work in the firm which is reducing my take-home salary. I will better prefer to leave the job and wait until I get at least salary equal to my existing salary or more than that.
So, in response to the falling real wage, workers like Mr. Shashank may reduce the quantity of labor they are willing to supply. With fewer workers or resources, firms will end up producing less. In conclusion, if workers misperceive real wage changes, then a fall in the price level will bring about a decline in output, which is illustrative of an upward sloping SRAS curve. You might have noticed that I am deliberately putting the word short run as a prefix before aggregate supply. Now, let me tell you the reason for this also. That is, what puts the short run in SRAS. According to most macroeconomists, the SRAS curve slopes upward because of sticky wages or worker misperceptions. No matter which explanation of the upward sloping SRAS curve we accept, though things are likely to change over time. Wages will not be sticky forever. Say, labor contracts may expire, and workers will figure out that their misperceived real wage changes, say, after sitting idle for a long period of time. It is only for a period of time, identified as the short run, that these issues are likely to be relevant. A change in the quantity supplied of real GDP is brought about by a change in the price level. A change in quantity supplied is shown as a movement along the SRAS curve. But what can shift the SRAS curve? The factors that can shift the SRAS curve include wage rates, prices of non-labor inputs, productivity, and supply shocks. Let's see all of them one by one.